Victoria Coates is a security analyst and joins me now in New York. And I have to start with this. President Trump has just told Axios that, quote, the war will end soon because there's practically nothing left to target. All right, Victoria, is that, could you take that as a statement of this? We are winning?
I think by any conceivable metric, Stuart, we are winning. And the problems that Iran had before the war, they haven't fixed. So I'm keeping a very close eye on the banking sector. They've closed their banks because they don't want people to be, running at them and trying to get their money out. But they're going to have to open them at some point. And remember, they had a bad bank failure in October, and they've had runaway inflation. So when they do try to restart their financial sector, they're going to have a whole host of other problems on top of the U.S. military intervention that they can't solve.
What's the mechanism by which we introduce a non-Islamic radical regime?
Well, I think this is what the Iranian people are going to need to do. And the Crown Prince has called for a general strike in Iran. He said, everybody stay home, don't come out. And what that chief of police said is really chilling. They are announcing their intent to do mass executions in the event that the Iranian people go to the streets. So we need to talk about, what kind of support through the Kurds, through Azerbaijan could get to them.
Prime Minister Netanyahu from Israel, he said this morning, Iranians, be ready for a chance for freedom, implying that something's going to happen pretty soon.
Well, I don't give our new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, a very long lifespan, and he's probably the loneliest man in Iran right now. I don't imagine he has many friends, and apparently he's wounded. So if we have a second leadership change in Iran, and clearly that's what the Israelis are intending to do, that will just cause political chaos. And that would be the moment of maximum opportunity for the Iranian people to stand up as they did in 1979 and demand a change.
Next one, Victoria. President Trump and Putin, they had a conversation by phone just, I think it was Monday. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt responded to claims that Russia is supporting Iran. Listen to this.
The president said yesterday that President Putin told him he wanted to be helpful in the Middle East. The Kremlin put out a statement where Putin said, quote, I would like to reaffirm our unwavering support for Tehran and our solidarity with Iranian friends. How does the president think that Russia could be helpful, if not helping Iran?
The president and his special envoy Witkoff have both said that, of course, they've sent a message to Russia that if that was taking place, it's not something they would be happy with, and they hope that it is not taking place. As for further details about the discussions between these two leaders, I'll leave it to the president to divulge any more of that conversation.
Victoria, it does seem like Putin's winning here. He's allowed to now sell more oil at a higher price.
Well, the oil sales do concern me. I'm less concerned about what Russia is or is not doing in the Iran war. Yes, maybe they're supplying some intelligence, but their ability to collect that intel is severely degraded by the loss of Assad in Syria. And on top of that, even if they are giving the Iranians targets, the Iranians are increasingly limited in what they can fire off. So this is hardly material support. I think it's pretty muted from Putin. I think he knows there's not much he can do. But one thing that he could do is send a message to Tehran that this is over. And if he wants to salvage anything out of Iran, they need to surrender and get this wrapped up.
That would end it quickly, very quickly.
It would.
Let's hope. All right, Victoria Coates, thank you very much. Good stuff.
Great to be with you.